Ow! Oh, my finger! I forgot.
Oh, yeah, you bless your finger.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back, by the way.
Hello.
So, we appreciate you all tuning in once again to episode 5 of Just Jay and I. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
we sent out a forum recently that you all were
Oh,
so.
you just want to get straight into it. No
Yeah,
highs, hellos. How was your week? Nothing?
Yeah, we're running it, bro.
Oh, okay.
We got shit to talk about.
We got shit to talk
Yeah, bro,
about.
we got to talk.
Say less.
We're in the business of yapping.
We're in the business of yapping.
So we want to acknowledge and thank everyone for all your responses that you gave us throughout the past week about what you think is wrong with the landscape of dating today in this modern generation.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got a really wide variety of responses, but we also definitely had a lot of overlap with what some people were saying as well. And so that was really interesting to see. It was really cool to hear what everyone's opinions were, and also see a lot of people honestly agree about certain, like, very common themes overall.
I think we should run the funniest ones that we found. You can read the first one, I'll read the second one. We'll just go back to back for the funny ones.
This I absolutely agree with.
Because the funny ones are just the ones that, like, obviously aren't real problems.
Yeah.
Oh, also, had a crazy weekend.
Did have a wild weekend.
Had a pool full of beer.
This is true.
Still probably would have a pool full of beer if we didn't clean it up.
This is also true.
Woke up Sunday morning to my phone just broken, so I had to get a new phone. I had to get my phone fixed.
Yeah.
Then I got a dad case, and it sticks to things.
So that's nice.
So that's pretty cool.
So yeah.
So I don't have to be like this loser and hold.
Yo, chill.
Yeah, holding
Yo, chill.
phones are
Yo, chill.
like so less.
Hey, tap in, dog.
Yeah.
Well, if my phone wasn't so big. Anyways, mine is supposed to be magnetic, but that's not the point.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, washed my cat, and he bit my finger, and that is why I was screaming in the beginning of the
When you
episode.
clapped, yeah. So, all right. Let's get to these funny ones, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
So, number 1, reasons why or what is wrong with dating in today's generation. So, answer number 1. Shawty can't party with the demons. That's her problem.
I can't. We both personally know the person that sent this one in. No
Yep.
free shout outs, but
I was laughing very hard. I will not lie.
yeah.
I was cracking up. So shout out you. But
We also got someone that very wholesome. I don't even know boys because I got hella lucky. Ha 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 ha.
no free shout outs, but you do know who you are, and we
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
you dearly. You're a good ass.
Appreciate you.
You're a good ass dude.
Yep.
These hoes ain't loyal.
As Lil Wayne and
As
Chris Breezy
literally
once
every
said.
rapper has ever said it.
Yeah,
in their career.
yeah.
You know, the mandatory statement to make a rap career.
Yeah. And then we also have the fact that she might have a dick.
That was definitely our wildest response that we got in these polls, but we appreciate it nonetheless.
Yeah, that's
Not expecting it, but
yeah, we'll take it. I guess
yeah,
we will.
I
take
guess
it.
that is what's wrong. I don't know. I'm not gonna judge.
Yeah, I'm not. I haven't been dating in 4 years. I'm not going to sit here and say that I know what's going on.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm not gonna say I've had that experience, but yeah.
I haven't either.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. But
yeah. All right.
I guess so. I'll say though. All right. So in actually being serious, now,
Yeah.
like in all seriousness, with what we got. So we had a lot of people make notes about dating apps being problematic in today's modern dating. Along with that, social media also being a major problem. So one of the first ones that I wrote down was constant comparison to others on social media.
Yeah.
Which I gotta say, like, I think you can have whatever stance you want, but like, to no degree can you not acknowledge that is
100%.
at least somewhat true.
Which it goes into the suggestions that other people had, which was the fact that like the grass is always greener on this other side. Let me see.
Yeah, this is a good one to talk about, like dating.
People won't commit because there's an idea that there's always someone better. Just like a lot of people were like, hey, the grass is greener somewhere else. Someone's waiting for a better person to come by. And like, controversial take, or maybe just realistic take, but like, there might be greener grass somewhere else, but oh, I got a bar. All right, all right, all right.
Yeah,
Here's my take. Here's my take. So to the person that said everyone wants the next best thing, or they think that the grass is greener somewhere else. The grass is green where you water it.
100%.
And so that's the biggest problem is like people aren't willing to water the grass that they're standing on. They want to go to somebody else's lawn, cross the property line, so on and so forth. Wow, cross the property line is like a funny way of saying.
Yeah, that is funny. That's actually a really good comparison. I like that. But yeah, anyways.
But that's the problem. It's like it's great where you water it. Like it's green where you water it. And so for like me and my fiance, we take the time to water in our relationship and express and fertilize and trim the weeds out and things of that sort. It's like I'm getting married next year and she's not marrying the same man that she started dating, and I'm not marrying the same woman that I started dating. And so
I'd be surprised if you both were.
Right?
Honest,
After 4 years, you would think we would be
100%.
the same.
Yeah. That would be, I mean, I'd be way more concerned about that than if you had changed.
100%.
Because I think people should change over time. I think that's a natural thing, and I think that's also a good thing. You know, not all change is great, but like overall, though, if you're growing and processing things in your life, like that is net positive overall.
Always.
Like that always will be net positive. To kind of go after more things that people said, I really liked this one. So I feel like a lot of people go in with the idea of what a person or a relationship should be. I think this makes it harder to be open and to see people for who they really are. And to this person's credit who said this, they also in parentheses go, I do this too.
Right.
Which I think was like, that's a really, I do think that is an issue in today's like dating world, is that a lot of people go in with this expectation of this idea of what they want a man to be or what they want a woman to be, or just any romantic partner, what they want that person to be. But don't allow the space for that person to be authentic to themselves at all times. And I think that's where a lot of issues come about as well for a lot of people. Like, I think that's where they get into these spaces of like, hey, we're not like going to, I think that's why people are now splitting up so much.
Right.
Because I think that lack
Divorce
of,
rate's at 60, bro.
I know it's awful. And like, if you break it down by like stats too, it's crazy of like who's getting divorced the most and everything. It's pretty wild. But yeah, I know 60% of people who are married now will get divorced.
Terrifying odds.
I mean, I'll be honest, I think that's a reason why dating is so cooked today.
Right.
I think a lot of people in our generation grew up seeing so many parents get divorced, or they were a child of divorce.
Yeah.
Like, and then they were like, well, like, fuck that, I'm not doing it.
Well,
like,
I'm a product of a kid out of wedlock, and then also watched the divorce between my mom and my stepdad.
yeah.
It's like, dude, like I have seen nothing but failed relationship after failed relationship. Like I never had a solidified relationship where I watch two people commit to themselves and are still committing to themselves or to each other to this day.
Right.
I just, literally, I like. It's not that I have never seen it. I know examples, but there wasn't any direct views or perspectives.
I honestly do feel like finding those relationships that are longer it feels like finding a diamond in an ice storm nowadays.
Right. People
Like-
are talking about me and Leah's relationship. We're like about to be together for 4 years. People are like, 4 years? I'm like, yeah, you like high school? Like, dude, like what do you
Yeah,
what
like
do
you
you
went
mean?
to high
It's-
school 4 years, you went to college for 4 years, like, you know what I
Like,
mean? It's like,
It's just sad that our generation's standards have been so low that like 4 years is this crazy long amount of dating.
yeah, I mean, I completely agree with that. Like,
Mhm.
I'll be honest, if I hit 4 years with someone, I'd be stoked.
Dude, I
You
hit
know what I
a year and I was like, I'm locked in.
Yeah.
9
no,
months later, I was
100%.
proposing,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
which is a different situation. It's just because I knew. So,
yeah.
like,
And so, you know, sometimes when you know, you know.
when you, dude, that's like one thing that like I heard my entire life that people were like, when you know, you know, and I was just
Yeah.
like, oh, I like that.
You're
Like,
like, yeah,
I get it.
yeah,
Yeah,
right,
sure,
yeah.
whatever. No, when you know, you know.
Yeah.
And I knew, and there was just no question in my heart. Like, I'm out here, like, designing a ring and like trying to find the right one and like
Yeah, I was there for you for that process. Like,
making sure it fits. And I'm like, the whole time they're telling me numbers and figures, and like I kept getting asked, "Are you sure? Are you sure you're ready? Are you sure she's ready?" I'm like, it's not really about being ready. It's about being willing.
yeah, 100%.
And I think that's what a lot of people are saying is like people aren't willing to commit.
Yeah, that was like, I think that was a big response that we got. But you know what's also interesting too? The opposite of that we did actually get a decent amount in this poll was that a lot of people felt like so many people were trying to rush relationships as well. Which like here, I'll pull up a couple of the comments.
And I have a different stance, obviously, because like I've only been in one successful relationship, and it's the one I'm in now.
Yeah.
And so like I don't feel it's only rushing if you're not like if you haven't prepared yourself. Like if you were
partially I agree with that, but go ahead.
Okay, well, that's the thing. It's only rushing if you're not prepared. Like if you haven't prepared yourself for the deep conversations, for lifelong commitment, for titles and things of that sort. Like I think I know which one you're about to read. It's like people try to put labels on everything too fast.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because like right next to it is people are hella scared to commit. Also situationships, people don't treat people like options. I'm like, okay, so you're saying that we're labeling it too fast, but then you're also, and I'm just saying like as a generation, we're labeling it too fast and people are scared to commit. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't say this to be rude, but just actually from our polls as well, like in seeing the responses of these people, I think the interesting part of that though was the rushing came from the girl's perspective.
Yeah.
And the like scared of commitment came from the male's perspective.
Right.
And so I think that's something interesting to note as well. And I'm not saying that's how it is across the board.
Right.
There are plenty of dudes plenty of dudes who I have met who are absolutely petrified of commitment.
I think society-wise, I would actually go the opposite. Like from our polls, I would say society-wise, we see that men are scared or more scared of commitment than women. But
I would 100% agree with
that. But then, like, I could argue in my own personal group, it's like it's the men always ready to commit and the women that are not. And like, well, me and Leah are obviously like, well, like even in me and Leah's situation, like I was talking to her about proposing within the first year. She was like, I am not ready for that. And I was fully down. And we hadn't even made it to a year.
Yeah.
And so it's spread, but like this is a group of 20 people compared to 333 million people in the U.S. or 330.
I mean, roughly.
A lot of fuckers.
I mean, I think it's so like, I understand where you're coming from because I feel like there's aspects to which I do agree with you because yes, I do feel like when you are ready to have those deep conversations with someone and you're really like you're willing to ask those big questions, I feel like that does speed the process along. Mm-hmm. Like someone would be more willing to commit earlier. Like if you are willing to be open and vulnerable from the start, like that, I from personal experience and from watching the like others as well, those people who have done that from the jump,
right,
did end up in relationships faster. Those labels came sooner.
Yeah.
But also, to that same extent, though, too, it's like, I do think there are plenty of examples of people who did take it slow and, like, really built that up. And then I also think, like, those people have built really meaningful relationships as well. And, like, no, I don't think everything has to burn right away. You know what I mean? Sometimes a slow burn is a good burn.
Yeah, and I think time's relative.
Exactly. I think it's all based on those people. I think it's based on what their needs are. Like, I think for your sake, like, you can say, like, I think you just are super aware of what you want.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that makes it easy for you to be like, yeah, this is good for me, or no, this isn't good for me. And, like, that's why I think it made things with you and Leah so easy to an extent of, like, not because, like, everything's been easy in your relationship, but more just because of, like, you knew what you wanted from it from the start. And, like, look at where you are now with that, too.
And I think, and, like, to go back to the comment that we talked about, like, people having all these expectations going into the relationship. Knowing what you want is an expectation.
I do agree with that. Yeah,
and 100%. I think people in our society, I'm going to preach for, like, 2 seconds. People in our society think that expectations and standards are the same thing. Standards are rules, expectations are ideas. So when you go into a relationship, you meet a guy, 6'5", brunette, just fucking built, sexy, on a podcast. Oh, I mean, but yeah. So you have this expectation. Like, for example, let's even use you. They see you on the podcast. They think they know you.
Right.
Or they have this idea of who you are.
Right.
You're not going to know us off of, no matter how many episodes we do, that's like so many hours. We're not talking to you. You don't know how we're going to interact with you and other people in your family and your crazy ass brother and the pit bull that probably should have died 3 years ago. Like, you have no idea how we're going to act or deal with any of those situations. But because they see you're on social media, they think they have this idea of who you are. And going into the relationship, if you aren't that group of photos and videos and tagged posts that they saw through this page on a screen, you're automatically disappointing them, and you literally have gone on a first date.
I completely agree with that. And I think, like, to build on that, there's a level of social media that's incredibly superficial and also artificial too.
I'd go as far as saying, like, obviously we built this podcast for authenticity.
100%.
But if we're being real, like, it's still a podcast. Like, we're still in our basement. We're still in a comfortable space talking to a camera.
Right.
Like, we're not having a one-on-one conversation with any of these people out here, which we would love to. Love you guys.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe. But, like, we would love to have these conversations, but we're not.
Right.
And so as real as we can be, we are trying to be as authentic and real as we can be sitting in our basement with microphones and a camera.
100%.
And that's it. And that's as far as we can go with it.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people, I would go as far as say all social media is superficial.
I would agree with that.
Because, like, look, you are a wizard with the camera. You still edit your photos. You still
100%.
get good cameras. Like, if I don't look like I did in my last Instagram post in person, how fucking dare I? Is how society treats these situations. It's like, bit dog. Like,
the art of being real is a dying is a dying breed.
Oh my God.
Like, yeah, no, I do. I agree with what you're saying. I feel like it's funny, we've talked about this before, but like this is outside of dating, and I'll bring this back into dating. Like, you know, there have been moments where like I've been recognized like around town, like, because of like my work.
Because you're so sexy and popular. Yeah.
Anyway,
hey, don't blush too hard.
But you know, like I've been fortunate enough that people are interested in what I do.
Right.
And I've been also fortunate enough that those people have said something to me, like gone out of their way and been like, hey, like, you're so-and-so, right? And I'm like, yeah, I am. And they're like, oh, I've been following you for a while now. Your work is awesome, man. Like, keep killing it. Like, and that part's really cool. Like, and I'm really grateful for those people. But it's like, I've definitely also had questions, like, asked me in the past before, being like, oh, like, you're always doing this, or you're always, like, just out and about. And it's like, if you knew most of my daily life, you would think I'm really boring.
You are a fucking robot. Like
oh yeah, 100%.
Like, despite what your Instagram looks like, you are legitimately on a plane, in a car, on a bus, on a train, like going anywhere you can at all points in time.
100%.
Monday through Friday, you go to work, you go to the gym, you come home, eat food, talk a little bit of shit with me, and
go
like
to bed.
the house, and then go to bed.
And I rinse repeat for 5 days out of the week, every week.
And then Saturday we might go do something, some shit.
And then Sunday I like might go do something, or I might go work out again.
Right.
Or like I'm doing housework. Like, and so I mean, yeah, I make myself active when I can, and I go and do as many things as I can, and I explore opportunities. But like, that's the thing though. Like, I can even admit for myself, like, a lot of what I've built of my personality over social media is not representative of what I do 75% to 95% of my time.
Exactly.
Like, and I'll just be blatantly honest about that. And like, I work really hard to be as interesting as I can be.
Right.
But I also know what works for me. And like, exactly. I mean, like, and it's also like, it's like, that's just real though too. Like, we all gotta have jobs. We all gotta go do things that make us happy, or we gotta go do the monotonous things like during the week. Like that's life.
I gotta go cut stone tomorrow.
Yeah, I gotta
Fuck,
go.
I don't want to go cut stone tomorrow.
Yeah, I gotta go. Gotta go do a bunch of social media work for my
Yeah.
company and everything, and and I'll end up working out later in the evening because I want to keep myself healthy and fit.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's all great. I'm not complaining about the life that I have. I love my life that I have.
Right.
But I will say though, I have definitely, and to relate this back to dating, I've gone on dates and I have had those experiences. And then someone will ask me, and they're like, oh, you must do all this and this, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'd try the most to, but it's this is and I'll just be upfront. I'm like, this is generally what a week looks like for me, and
Right.
there is this level of disappointment.
Yeah.
I think the one saving grace of what I do over social media is that I do let my personality shine.
Hell yeah.
I think that I'm very authentic to who I am, as a person, interacting, how I interact with you guys is what I also promote on socials as well. And so, sorry, the cat just ran by.
The cat is going.
So I think that's a compliment I've gotten as well, which has been nice overall, is being oh, I loved what you said.
Mhm.
I love what you say along with your photos. It's really positive and impactful.
Because that's who you are.
Because that
You are
is who I
positive
am.
and
But
impactful.
and so to that though too, and to go relate this all back to dating is and this is not to discredit anyone or make them feel bad, but it's but a lot of people don't do that.
Right.
A lot of people don't open up about this is who I love right now. This is what's happening in my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's again, that's not bad, but it's you just see the highlight reel of people's lives, and then you go into these situations where you're trying to form these deep connections based off of something that's partially artificial. You know what I mean?
I bet you if you all these guys that have these really cool highlight tapes from the NBA and stuff like that, if you watch the game, you'd probably be like, this guy's ass.
Yeah.
This guy's not obviously if you know basketball, but if you just look, if you don't know the sport, you look at all these highlight tapes, you watch an actual game, you'll be like, dude, this guy was cool for about a total of 30 seconds through 4 quarters.
They're missing 60% of the shots they take.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or Steph Curry. Everybody's oh my God, he's the best 3-point shooter. He shoots around 30%.
Yeah.
He misses 70% of the threes.
His best 3-point percentage, I believe, is 43%.
And on average,
granted, he makes some difficult threes.
But
but also to contact,
but that's what everybody expects.
100%.
All of a sudden, if he misses a contested three, everybody's oh, Steph Curry's washed.
Yeah.
It's just big dog.
Yeah.
How is that acceptable? That's just an unfair expectation completely.
I want to get into something with you because I think this is
Oh, shit.
we've kind of gone on a tangent a bit of a little bit off of the actual dating thing.
Oh, right. Right.
And so kind of to bring this back in, I want to ask you, what do you think is wrong with dating? Because we touched on a lot of the things that people talked about.
Women, no, just playing.
No, just kidding.
Jokes. Calm down. Calm down.
No, but genuinely though, what do you think? I mean, from your observations of when you were openly dating, not openly dating, but you know what I mean, in the dating pool.
When a pimp used to be in the streets, I used to my biggest problem for most of my life was once my mom allowed me to start dating at 13. Say what you will, I'm so glad she did. Honestly, I wish she would have waited later. But for my mom, who let me start dating at 13, from that very moment, I dated to find my wife. And the main thing that I got from a lot of people was slow down, just have fun. You're in high school. I had one person say, go sow your seed, which I don't think they meant it as inappropriately as it sounds.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? But that's the problem. Everybody's oh, go meet all new people. Go da-da-da. Don't ever settle down, because you'll never know what's right around the bend. I'm I had in my personal opinion, I had very minimal standards for a relationship. I wanted someone that was willing to sit down and have hard conversations with me. Someone that was funny most of the time. And someone that knew how to get me out of my faults that I knew that I already had.
Yeah.
I had 3 rules, standards for somebody, along with the basics of loyalty and like
Right.
da
Yeah.
da 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 da. I had 3 standards. And the sad part about it was those 3 standards were so hard for a lot of people to live up to.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the problem, is like, and my biggest problem with dating is not only my standards were hard to live up to, it was there was just so much pressure to do the opposite of what I was doing, that the moment that someone looked like a greenish flag, I jumped into it
100%.
without a doubt. Like, and I won't even say I rushed things. I was just so willing to commit from like up until my fiance. If we went on a first date, we were locked in from my perspective. Like, my
Yeah.
attention was 100% on you, and that's great, and that's a good thing to do. But it was a risk, and it caused
Yeah.
some heartbreak, and I got fucked up emotionally over the years from just being like, oh, we went on a first date. The first date went well. Okay, I'm giving you my time and attention and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I am now committed to see this to the end. And most of the time it went into a relationship that we saw to the bitter fucking end.
Yeah.
But I have very many problems with dating nowadays. The hookup culture is ruining everything.
Yeah. That was also a note from a lot of the people
Yeah.
that responded to us, but I do wholeheartedly agree with that.
And that's like bad stipulations on everybody, like from both sides. Like,
I'm not blaming a
Yeah,
side.
we gotta-
that's a universal issue.
we got a weird pressure from hookup culture for men to be super experienced and women to be inexperienced. But talking heterosexually, if the men have to be experienced, that means women also have to be experienced, because
Yeah.
like, who else are they going to get experience
It's
with?
just unrealistic on both sides.
Oh yeah,
Like,
because
we're
men are
looking at-
supposed to just know their way around everything, like know how to handle girls' attitudes and things of that sort. And obviously there's pressure to perform in bed, and then women on the same hand are pressured to to be everything, all these TikTok models shaking the booties online and stuff like that. And then, but also be a loyal, committed, not promiscuous person. Like, all of it, like, you're so surprised that you got what you were looking at. Like, you see a girl with a nice body showing off what God gave her.
Right.
And then you get in a relationship, and then you're like, hey, why are you showing off what God gave you? Big dog, I've been doing this before you got here. You're here because I was doing that.
Right.
And some people
That was the main attraction.
Right, but some people flip that switch, and some people don't.
Right. I don't think either one of those is bad. It's like, it's like that person's choice. But with that being said, though, yeah, that's inevitably going to be difficult, though, at the same time. And so
we are coming up on the 1 minute warning.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back and ask you the same question.
Perfect.
There was one that we skipped over that I really want to hit, but
We'll touch on that later.
we'll touch on that later.
Yeah.
We'll see you after the break.
Thanks, you all. All right, you all. We
Welcome
are back.
You
Yep.
have your hosts, John Cena and Booker T. For the people that know WWE.
Brock.
But, Brock, to get a concussion, you need a brain. Chill. Oh, I just hit my head. Don't worry.
Feeding right into that one.
Yeah, definitely not concussed. No brain to concuss.
All right, so where were we?
Yeah, so I went on my rant about what I feel is wrong with dating. Now, I've been out of the game for 4 years, so I got to ask you, big dog, you're well within your dating life.
Yeah.
And so what's a consistent problem that you've been seeing so far?
I think I'm gonna break this into 2 parts. I'm gonna break this into like what I've seen, well, the people that's a consistent issue, and
Okay.
then like my personal consistent issues
All right.
in
chapter
relationships. So I'll start off with like what I see with others. I think I do overall see like a difficulty with commitment overall, like
Okay.
long term. Like I really can resonate with that statement. And I think the part of that I related to the most was that the grass was greener on the other side.
One.
Because reflecting on mistakes, there were periods of my life where I did think that.
Right.
And then there were periods of my time where it was like the grass is greener where you water it, but the other person felt the opposite. And so now having more of like a mature standpoint on everything and after having a lot of time to reflect on all that, I am one of those people where I do believe overall it's like I think there's levels to things. Like there are things where I've seen people break up over where I'm like, that could have been solved.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was just because someone didn't care to solve it.
Yeah.
Like they didn't care enough in the first place. And then there are things that I see where I'm like, I genuinely don't understand why this person is still in this relationship.
Okay. I'm gonna have to speak on that. I love your reasonings, and your reasonings are great. I'm gonna have to speak on that because I'm about to get a little pissed. So I'm gonna back the microphone away from me real quick. Ladies, respectfully, and this is only my perspective. You can get mad at it, but if you're mad at it, it's mostly because it's true. We have seen an influx in ladies being more aware of their value. This is fantastic. Why the fuck aren't you aware of the value when the dude cheats on you?
Actually, I'm going to pause you right there. Thank you.
Well, okay.
It breaks my heart every
really
time. It
fucking
breaks my
does.
fucking heart. Every time. I've watched too many people now go down these paths of someone who is emotionally not available and is looking for an out all the time. And they're just digging the heels in. And I get it. You want to make it work. Like I've been there. But at the same time, though, it's like, I just wish you would value yourself more. Like, I wish you didn't accept that love. Like, I wish you didn't think that that's what you deserved.
Right. Exactly. So that's
I've known so many good women that deserve so much more than that.
For me, okay, so I'm gonna use one of the suggestions we got. We got a suggestion that says unwillingness to give second chances to the people that deserve them.
I forgot about that one.
So I'm gonna say this: there are situations where second chances are deserved. Let me name the motherfucking most important situation where a second chance ain't deserved: cheating, emotionally or fucking physically. It's not deserved. Now, there are some people that can get past it. That is okay. And if you are those people that can get past it and it never happens again and you live happily ever after, cool. If this motherfucker cheats on you and then changes the story where you forced him or her them to step out of the relationship, wake the fuck up.
There's nothing left. There's nothing
left.
There's
nothing left.
You just burn the
stepping out of a
foundation.
relationship like that
You just burn the foundation of the home.
It gets me fucking riled up because I'm all about women empowerment. I'm all about you guys recognizing your value. I'm all about you guys having standards. But why the fuck does it falter as soon as a dude shows you time and time again, and then you complain to your friends? I'm going to say this right now. Number one lesson that I've ever learned about dating. If your mama and all your friends all say that they ain't good for you, I'm going to say this right now. You're not smarter than your mama and all your friends.
Yeah, combined, if you're looking at 6 or 7 people.
Yeah, if your entire friend group Uggs when you say, hey, me and so-and-so got back, it's a fucking sign. Don't get back with so-and-so. Fuck them. Move on. This is one of those situations that the grass is greener because when a motherfucker takes a blowtorch to your lawn, You don't ask that motherfucker to come back and reseed it and water it. That's not how that works. And so,
all he knows is fire.
Exactly, bro. He's still gonna show up with the blowtorch.
No.
And if you get it to grow again, he's still just gonna be like, but it was really cool to see that lawn on fire, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, no, it's
hold your value through all situations and times. If you recognize your value when you're single, hold that value when you are in a relationship.
Yeah.
And if that value is getting tarnished and diminished by the person that you are with, move on.
Yeah.
There's just nothing left.
No, there's nothing.
And if you have to watch this podcast to learn that, cool. Welcome. Subscribe and like and comment about how you left your toxic ass person. But or that's one more thing, and I'm gonna be a little bit mean about this. If you have to come to your friends on a weekly, daily, monthly basis and talk about how so-and-so is abusive, so-and-so did me dirty, so-and-so did that, I'm going to do the favor that your friends might not be telling you. Shut the fuck up.
It's not working. Just leave.
Either eat the abuse, which you should not. Please don't ever do that.
Please walk.
Or walk. Walk. Because if your friends get those glazed over eyes when you bring up your relationship, it's because you're so far gone that you ain't listening to nobody. Sorry.
You're good.
That's what you were saying.
You're good.
It gets me riled.
No, it does get me riled too. That's my issue overall, I think, with other, like, when I look outside of myself.
Right.
Like, that's the thing where I've really been like, it just breaks my heart overall.
It really
I'm
does.
just like, I can't understand this at all.
Like, I want to give them a hug and I want to, like, break up for them, but I can't do that.
Yeah, like you got to let people, unfortunately, like, this is a lesson I've come to recently in my life. Some people you just have to let crash and burn. And it's a super difficult process watching, but it's like there's no other way.
And as such a protective person as myself, to watch someone crash and burn,
it's really difficult.
Fucking hurts.
Yeah, it hurts a lot.
It hurts a lot to watch that. But what was your number 2?
So this is for myself. My biggest issue that I've had with dating overall has come with that when I started a relationship, I was very clear about my expectations and how I felt and what I was looking
standards.
for. Yes, like I was.
Not your expectations.
Both.
Okay.
Well, I'll be honest, both. I'd be like, these are my standards. Like, this is what I look for in somebody. And with this being said, when I have you as a girlfriend, like, this is what I expect. Mm-hmm. Like, these are my boundaries within a relationship. Where I talk about, like, how I want to build that. And it's a very open conversation. I'm not saying it's, like, set in stone.
Right.
Like, because I want to hear their opinion. I want to hear their experience. Like, I want to build something with them that works for both parties. So it's, like, a very open thing. But my problem that's come with that is that over time, like, I got into those relationships because that was agreed upon. And that was a space where I was like, this is something I can jump into. This is something I can go into. But that was taken away at some point in the relationship. And that, I would say for most of my relationships, is the reason why they have ended. There's only one relationship where I've had where that wasn't the case.
Right.
Every other one, that is exactly the reason why.
Fair.
Yeah.
And there's not much that you can do or anybody else can do. It's like, if you agree to these boundaries and standards and maybe expectations that you think you can grow into or something of that sort.
Yeah. And I think the difficult part that I had with that experience too was that I didn't lose my train of thought, but I'm trying to think of how I want to phrase this. I made it evident, and I'll admit this fault in myself in those relationships. There were times where I made things okay that I really shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Like, I should have let people eat it, but it was just so disastrous overall, and there was such, like, an attempt for manipulation.
Yeah.
Or such a lack of, like, repair that I just was like, I just called it a wash, because I was just like, it's either this or I'm just gonna break down.
100%.
Like, and so I ate it for a while, but, like, there were also a lot of moments though too where I did come to them and saying, this is not working for me. Like, this is something that I've brought up now multiple times, and I have told you that needs to change. And I stand on this hill still, seeing no progress. And then when it came time to end that, for that reason, that truth got manipulated after the breakup. And, like, I will say my biggest fear now going into relationships is not, I'm not going to say the aftermath, because I don't go into relationships expecting them to end. I go into a relationship with intention. I'm trying to build something with someone long term. That is my goal. That always has been my goal. Like, in my current life now, that is what I want. With that being said, when everything I'm trying to build along with this person is absolutely not going to happen, because the few things that I ask for to, like, at least see progress in are absolutely not only, like, that's not happening, but also with that, it's like there's just an absolute war happening. But the fact that I'm even saying it is like, we have nothing left here. But then my response to leaving has always been like, and this really, it's hurt my feelings a lot in the past, is that, like, oh, he had wandering eyes, oh, he was always looking somewhere else, or like, I mean, like, I'll just be blunt. Like, recently I got, this is absolutely false, might I add, but, like, got labeled a cheater, like, which is, like, so far outside the bounds of what actually happened, and I will happily pull up my phone and prove everything I need to prove. I'll go band for band on that real quick.
Band for band on that.
I'll clear my name in 7 seconds.
Again?
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, yeah, that's like, it's tough for me. Like,
it's terrible. That,
like, it's honestly, like, that's been something that's been really, like, hard for me, is because, like, I've talked about it, like, on my episode. Like, I'm not saying my person has to be my peace. I need to be able to access my peace within the space that that person and I share together. And I make that evident at the beginning of the relationship. Like, that is, like, always been like hey, if I consistently cannot do this, we will not work out long term. And I make that blunt. Like, in every, like, relationship that I've, like, before, like, we've been like, okay, let's do this. Like, let's try this. Like, I have been very evident of, like, I'm not saying we can't have hard times. I'm not saying I won't try in those moments. If consistently I cannot have access to my peace and feel okay within myself, this I will leave.
Yeah.
Which I'm talking about, like, long-term things.
Yeah,
like,
which is a fair standard to have. It's like a fair expectation to be able to.
Yeah, like, my nervous system can't always be on go. Like, I can't be anxious all the time about 100%. A reaction. Like, that's not healthy for me. Like, that's a lot of the ways in the past I've really lost myself.
That's been, like,
in relationships.
That's been the biggest thing I've been trying in me and Leah's relationship, is, like, not to create fear around bringing something up.
100%.
Fear of an argument, fear of yelling, fear of disagreement, fear of whatever. Like, I have always tried to make very prevalent and obvious that, like, no matter what it is, like, please bring it to me so we can fix it.
Yeah.
And I'm already a loud person, so I can't promise I won't be loud. I can't promise that I won't be aggressive, and I've been trying to watch my volume and things of that sort. And not necessarily, like, aggressive, not in the way of, like, physically intimidating or verbally intimidating, just, like,
I think you just get animated first.
I'm so motivated to get to a solution that I get animated, and I get frustrated when I feel like we're stuck in a loop and things of that sort. It's like, I just want to find this solution so that we can move on and be happy.
Yeah.
And my frustration comes out in my volume a lot. And so that's something that I've been trying to create within my own relationship, is, like, just that opportunity to always be able to bring anything up, and knowing that we both might scream, we both might yell, we both might not like each other in the moment, but at the end of the day, we will find a solution. We will find some way that works for us, and we will make it out the back end of this.
Yeah, which I think that's always been my goal in a relationship. Like, that's always, like, I would honestly kill for that.
Right.
Like, and I will say this: there was in my past, I don't regret any of my decisions now. It's led me here, and I learned a lot about myself, and I've become a much better man because of all these experiences. So I wouldn't
Right.
say that I want to go back to anything, but I will acknowledge there was one person that I was with in my past who I could have easily had that with
Mhm.
if I was there
Yeah, if you
at
were
that
there,
point.
yeah,
If I
if
was
you were-
mentally at that point, like I easily could have gone to that space, and that's something I reflect on in the past. Being like, damn, I really wish I realized that at that time, but I didn't, and that's okay.
yeah, and that's how life works.
But now I realize that now, and it's like that was actually such a gift
Mhm.
that I did receive, like because like I did have that experience, and it was like, oh wow, okay, like that was, I will admit, that was crazy, like having someone who like for most of the time, I'll even be honest, like I didn't even have to say, like because like I'm not gonna start like a coming into something being like hot, like I'm not
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah,
mad,
yeah.
like I generally like when I bring something up, it's like, hey, I need to be honest, like that really upset me, like that really hurt my feelings, or that really put me in an uncomfortable position, like can you not do that again, or like can we
Right.
figure out some way to not have this happen. With her, I didn't even have to ask that.
Mhm.
Like she would just come to me and be like, hey, I realized this last night and I want to apologize to you because I could tell that that didn't make you feel good, and I'm really sorry.
Mm.
And you know what? I never had one day where I was mad at her for more than an hour.
That's great.
Like I wouldn't even call it like mad. I would just say like frustrated.
That's great. No, that's fantastic.
Yeah, like genuinely, like, and so like I have to give that respect to that.
Self-awareness is so sexy, by the way.
100%
So hot.
accountability and yeah is like
And self-awareness is just
yeah.
Mm.
No, it's like
we're both
Yeah.
just sitting there nodding,
Yep.
just
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. That's an
Yeah.
audio clipper.
must be fucking nice. Um,
Yeah.
No, but like it really is though. Like for me, it's like if I know that I can do that with somebody, like
Mhm.
the lifespan of a relationship automatically just went to infinity.
And beyond.
Yeah, no, like that honestly like is like a forever thing for me at that point. Like looking at
100%.
that, like if someone has that capability, and I'm not saying I'm not willing to acknowledge flaws and like
Right.
grow with that person. I actually really want that experience.
Hmm.
When I've bailed, it's because it's like I've tried to have that experience with that person, but they were just unwilling to go to that space with me.
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of the beauty of that relationship got lost.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink.
100%. And like, I think partners are supposed to support each other and be there for each other, but I'm not like a savior.
Right.
And I'm not here to guide someone to the
Yeah.
better self. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not a spirit guide. No, but like, yeah, I'm not going to lead people though to that space.
If you're
Like,
not already on the path to growth, I can't force you to start walking. And that is 100%. Like, you have to find someone that's trying to grow themselves
100%.
while growing a relationship.
Yeah.
I had a lot of pastors describe a relationship in a triangle where it's you and your partner connected by this bottom line. And then it is you guys connected to God.
100%.
And so I think the biggest problem right here is if you guys aren't growing this, and if you guys aren't growing laterally to each other, creating an attachment, and then you guys aren't growing upwards to growth to God, to a better person,
Yeah.
then the triangle breaks and there's nothing that you can do about it. But if you are
100%.
building that, the triangle, engineering wise, is the strongest shape
Yeah.
that you can have.
Yeah. So
Not an engineering major,
no,
but
right,
I will. I'll text Tyler and ask him that.
100%.
But I do want to switch up the tone
Yeah,
a little
let's go.
bit. Let's do something maybe a little bit more lighthearted. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, for sure.
We did have one commenter drop a very, very open-ended question, but a real question.
Yeah.
We did have a
This is
lady
how I like
go, lady go, how does a man's mind work when it comes to love and relationships? Which I
Oh,
gotta
man.
say, thank you so much for being specific, so we know exactly what the answer is that you're looking for.
Amen to that. I do agree with that statement. But
But so I think it's very, we could make it cut and dry, but we're very simple creatures. We like love, we like Legos, we like food. Like, you get what I
Yeah.
mean? And like, we could leave it on a joke and as simple as that, but that's not what we do here. We like to dive deeper and get perplexed by a perspective. You know what
100%.
I'm gonna pause and point at the camera every time I say something about perspective. But I think she's trying to read into the male mind, and there is a great maybe it's a TED talk, maybe it's just a documentary. There's a video that kind of like was brilliant for me to watch at the age that I did. It's The Tale of Two Minds.
Yeah.
And he kind of goes through in a very comedic, entertaining way, explaining how like a man's mind works and a woman's mind works. And I'll say, at least since we were asked about a man's mind, I'll say for love and relationship, a lot of what men want is peace. In a
Right.
lot of things, and peace has all their different looks, like forms and things of that sort. But like, at least peace for me is not fear of judgment especially when I already feel like I'm doing a lot.
Right.
Like, I work 50 to 55 hours a week. I DoorDash on top of that sometimes, just to, like, not even just to make ends meet, like, but like to have a little bit more spending money, to be able to eat out and things of that sort, and take the trips that we take. It's like, I put a lot of effort in that. And one of the conversations that me and Leah has had is like, when I put that much effort into work and then I come home and get judged for not doing that much around the house, it was very hurtful for me, because it felt like I just put in a 15-hour shift and that doesn't matter because I didn't wash the dishes. Which,
Right.
from her perspective, I'm going to do it. I told you I was going to do it. From her perspective, what she sees is I also work a full-time job, and now I have to come home and clean up both of our messes. And she felt unappreciated. We were both arguing for appreciation, yet the way that we did it was to force the other person to conform to how we wanted to be appreciated in that moment. Whether that was, let me not do the dishes for tonight, or you do the dishes tonight. And I think getting past something like that, like, that was my biggest thing. Is like being able to come home after busting my ass for us all day,
Yeah.
and being able to come home and maybe play a video game or watch a YouTube, or like scroll through TikTok and look like a dead man with my mouth open for 5 hours. Like, being able to do that every once in a while is huge for me.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of men are looking for peace. And like, for me, at least, is growth. Peace and growth. If you can allow me to have my peace when it's needed, and obviously, like, if I'm going a week without doing the dishes, like, yeah, call me on my shit.
Right.
But like, if it's Monday and the dishes were from Sunday, and it's obvious that I just worked my ass off, like, letting me wait till Tuesday gives, like, the amount of grace that makes me want to go in Tuesday, work another 15-hour shift.
Yeah.
And I think that, and growth, is like, if a man, especially like men nowadays, if a man says something to you and confides in you in a situation,
Yeah. Yeah.
take that.
This is my biggest one. Yeah.
Like, take that for fucking real.
Yeah.
Because as men, we are told not to cry, not to share our feelings, to shut up, to just eat it day
Right.
after day, 24/7. And it ends up with the amount of suicides that we have in the country.
Yeah.
Like, that's where it is. It's like, you shove something into a pressurized bottle so many times, at some point it's going to explode.
Right.
And sometimes it explodes externally, sometimes it implodes. And that's the sad truth about it, is, as a society, we tell men to nut up, don't cry. Are you a girl?
Yeah.
Are you a sissy? Don't be a pussy.
Right.
Like, there's no crying in baseball. Rub some dirt in it. Keep going. Don't ever stop, because if you stop, the guy behind you is going to catch up, and he's going to take everything that you've worked so hard for.
Right.
And like, yeah, that's like a hard ass mentality sometimes, but sometimes like in a world where you go out into the world and that's the narrative that you get told into, I want to be able to come home and like cuddle my 5'3" white girl, dude. Like I
Right,
want to be
yeah.
able to come home and like maybe shed a tear in her shoulder or
Yeah.
just be like, babe, like
Um,
fucking today was hard to
yeah.
get through.
Yeah, I agree
And
with
being
that.
able to be heard on that is so huge.
Yeah. I mean, I've spoken about this in previous podcasts. Is like when that window to be vulnerable is shut, like that is
Mhm.
generally when um the relationships also failed for me.
Yeah,
Like if I'm not allowed to be expressive of how I'm feeling in those
100%.
moments, because like, I mean, you know me, and I think a lot of other guys can relate to this too. It's like I don't like talk that much about like things that bother me. Like
Mm.
it's got to like really bother me if like I'm like
Yeah, I would
like
say for us three, we're pretty. I wouldn't even go as far as say stoic because I definitely know like some guys that like wouldn't express as much as we do.
yeah,
But we are pretty like if we can handle it, we handle it like
yeah,
on our own. If we
right,
can't handle it and it's expressed, that's huge.
hundred
Because I
percent,
feel like a man's first instinct a lot of the times is to fix the problem without any help.
right,
And if I do come to you for help, being heard
yeah,
is honestly gonna make or break my day, my mental stability, and maybe our relationship.
yeah. I would say my biggest thing as well, like for what a man looks for in love, and like kind of answer this question, like what a man also feels like to be in love as well. We have 2 minutes left.
2 minute warning.
Man, you yapped that whole time.
I apologize.
Can't let me say a thing.
Damn
Just
it,
kidding.
my bad.
No, you're good. I think if to show appreciation to a man, you will get so much more in return. I will say
Mhm.
that, and his willingness to be loving and kind skyrockets exponentially with that too.
100%.
I've fully acknowledged those times where like I've seen um, women and men who are really good at showing appreciation to their partner, and you can see how much happier the other partner is as well. I think
100%.
just acknowledging the good is really, really important to like lasting healthy love for a man. And when a woman is also complimentary of a man, you will watch a guy fold so fast,
Oh my
like
God.
so fast.
Yeah.
So that's overall my notes with that. We can
100%.
probably touch on this probably next episode.
Yeah, we can
'Cause
drop
we
back
want-
in, or we could keep recording.
We could keep recording. Let's keep recording.
You know what? We're gonna take a break and we're gonna come back. You get a specially long episode today. Okay, pause.
Let's do it. Let's
All
do
right,
it.
we'll be back after the break.
Yes. All right. So last little part of this, but
Yeah.
let's get back into the conversation that we were having because I really like this. I love this question, honestly. So I think there's a lot of things that happen when a man is in love.
Mm.
I really feel like there's an aspect of his masculinity that really starts to come out because I feel like I've watched a decent amount of men who like before they really found their person, like I wouldn't say they were like angry or like more willing to fight, but you know there was more like this like kind of fire in them.
Yeah, like
You know what I
under
mean?
like
There's
just
like a
under the surface aggression.
100%, yeah. Like, and there's definitely more of this like willingness to kind of like let that go. But I think once a man has really found his person, like he becomes really comfortable in his masculinity,
Mhm.
and that also really starts to shine in really positive ways.
Mhm.
Like he's protective of his people, and he's really expressive about the things that he's grateful for, and shows a lot of appreciation for those people. But at the same time, though, too, like becomes a lot more, I think, emotionally available and also understanding of someone, and like really wants to create a space that is safe for people. Like really, I think like when a man is truly in love, he builds.
I like that.
Yeah, like he will build everything that you tell him to,
Yeah.
and he will excel. If he's got the right things going for him, he will excel.
Dude, I've seen some of the Ooh, that was gross. I've seen some of the hardest motherfuckers I've ever known become dudes that attend their daughter's tea parties,
Mm-hmm.
which is like the coolest thing I've ever like. Dudes,
I love that stuff, man.
I've
I love
seen
it so
dudes
much.
that probably should have gone to prison for some of the things that they have done in their life, are wearing a tutu with their nails painted, covered in glitter, having a
Yeah.
tea party with stuffed animals.
Yeah.
Like that is the cool, like in my mind, having that duality, like Jordan Peterson talks about, like to become good, like being good is not being gosh, what does he say? Being good isn't the same thing as being like vulnerable. Like not
Yeah.
vulnerable as in like emotionally vulnerable, but vulnerable as in like defenseless. Oh, yeah. Being
Yes.
good
Yeah.
is not the same as being defensive.
Yes.
Becoming or having the ability to become a monster and not is what makes you good. Good is not necessarily the absence of evil when we're talking about a human being. The good is is doing something despite the evil inside you.
Yeah.
And so I feel like every man needs that switch
Yeah.
and needs to know when to flip it, needs to
Yeah.
know when it's time to defend his family's honor or his own honor.
Right.
But I also think a man with a loose switch is a loose cannon, and
Yeah.
that is a problem.
I do agree with that. I agree with that entirely. But to go back like more to this question, like yes, I really do feel like when a man is in love, there's a lot of things that switch, and you'll watch it actively. There's a
Mhm.
lot of things that'll get dropped in his current life. Like he'll be like, nope, that's not a priority anymore. Like, nope, that doesn't mean anything to me anymore. Like, and you won't have to ask him. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it'll just be like a, oh, light bulb. Okay.
It's
Yep.
inherent.
Mm-hmm. And then on top of that too, you'll just see him start to care more.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest things I've watched for people that I know that have fallen in love. Like there's like this light that comes into their eyes where like they're just like, I get it now. And then they just see everything that they need to care about and want to care about, and then they
Mhm.
just jump into that, like no question.
100%.
And they excel too. It's
Oh, yeah.
really like I feel like it's a beautiful thing to watch. But I think how men though come to be in those spaces where they're really in love is because they find someone that really, number one, appreciates them as a person overall.
Mhm.
Like not something that they can provide. Like this person authentically loves them for who they are, like as a spirit.
Yeah.
And I think that will switch any man like super fast.
100%.
And really be like that's I think the greatest motivation that any man can truly have in life. And so I would say like for this person that asked this question to us, like creating a space for your man to be authentic within himself while also
Mhm.
allowing him to grow and change and be better overall is honestly how you'll see a lot of men come to be in love.
100%.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. I think, like, at least for me, like, Leah has always given this space for me to grow.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was pressure, but not necessarily from her verbally. There was just this inherent need to make sure that all of her needs were taken care of.
Yeah.
And it wasn't something she asked for. It wasn't something that like no like uncle pulled me aside and said, "Homeboy, like it's time for you to be a
Yeah.
provider." It just clicked for me.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like I was willing to work these crazy pay periods and like 110 hours in 2 weeks, and then door dashing on top of it, and then things of that sort. Like all of those became just like it really was like felt like a gene was switched on that has been dormant
Yeah.
in my entire life. It's like, yeah, I always wanted to make good money. I always wanted to be comfortable, but like now there's just this different level of drive and motivation to do it.
Yeah.
And like I was going to do it anyway, but now it almost becomes easier because I know who I'm doing it for.
100%. If I can speak for myself, it's
Mhm.
that's something I really want in my life. Obviously with the right person. Like I don't want to get in that space with someone who doesn't feel that type of way about me. And I don't even think
Right.
I actually could, because if I know that someone doesn't feel that way about me, I know that it just won't naturally happen. Like, I'd be forcing a lot of things, and I inevitably would burn myself out.
Mm-hmm.
But a big goal of mine in life, like, is to build a family with someone
Mhm.
that, like, I love. Like, I've been very particular about if I do want to have kids or not, and I've come to the decision of, like, it would be very dependent on that person.
You,
Like,
you have to have kids.
me?
Yeah, who the
Why?
fuck are who are my kids gonna hang out with? The regular kids at public school? Fuck no. They're gonna be best friends with the McDonoughs, whether or not. Like,
Well, I'll figure it out. But, like,
yeah,
I have
obvious.
acknowledged, though, it's like I don't want to have a kid in this life if, like, I don't look at their mother and be like, I'm first and foremost wholeheartedly in love with this woman and
Yeah.
would die for her in a second. But then, second of all, too, it's like, I don't know. It's interesting. I came to this realization recently. It's like, I really won't have kids until, like, I just know, like,
Yeah.
with that person that I want that. Um,
And I think for you, I like what it sounds like for me is like it's not necessarily like whether or not you want to have kids. It's just
I think it's more just like meeting that person and be like, I know it'll be right to have kids with this person.
yeah, there might just be some underlying doubt of finding the person that you want to have kids with.
100%.
I think it's
that's
less
definitely a fear of mine.
100%.
But yeah, but I brought that up more because it's like, I really, I've thought about this a lot. Like, a daughter, I think, would be really a blessing in my life. Like, that is something that I think I could. I'm not saying I need, like, a lesson, but I think it's
Mhm.
something that would really be. I don't know. I just feel like it would be the greatest honor of my life to have a daughter.
You would be a sick girl dad.
Yeah,
You'd be
I
an
really feel like
awesome
I could
girl
do really
dad.
well as a girl dad.
They're gonna
Um,
be if and when we have daughters, like they're gonna be so spoiled, dude. They're gonna be so. It's gonna be terrible.
Oh yeah, she's gonna walk all over me. It's gonna be,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
the daddy-daughter dates are gonna go crazy.
Daddy-daughter dates are gonna go insane. My wife's gonna be like, "Hey, why are you in California?" Well,
She wanted to go.
yeah, it was our daddy-daughter date this Saturday, and so
Um,
she said she wanted to go to Disney World, so I drove.
yeah, so we figured it out.
We live in Montana. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. That's what the daughter
That's not
wanted.
what we're talking about right now.
That's not what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, but I mean, no.
I think there is like, in most men, I won't say all men because I have seen the opposite. There is, I would say, a good man when given the love and support and space to grow will step up to the plate beyond your wildest imagination.
Yeah, I really do agree with that. Like, I
I've
think
seen
all
some-
expectations get smashed once.
Mhm.
Like, that clicks for a man.
I've known some dirtbag dudes that have stepped up
Yeah,
crazily because of the love and space that they were given by the woman that came into their life.
100%.
I really like it that in my like men and women really do need each other. And
yes.
I refuse to hear I don't need no man, I don't need no girl. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
You don't know what your full potential is until you are loved and supported in that way.
100%.
I just like, dude, as motivated, as
100%.
hardworking, like I made it D1 on my own.
Yeah.
And like I busted my ass and I still didn't reach my full potential until Leah came into my life.
Yeah.
And I still like, and I'm growing exponentially day by day
Yeah.
that she is in my life. And I think until you have no idea what you're capable of until you are given that level of love.
Yeah. I think a lot of like the really great men that you'll see in media, like I think you'll see examples of that too.
I think you'll see an amazing woman right behind them.
100%. But on top of that too, I think you'll also see amazing families. Like I think one of like, oh man, like when I watched this, like I was like damn near bawling. Like I'll be totally honest. Like after the Eagles and Saquon won the Super Bowl, I don't know if you guys have watched this, but the voicemail that they played
oh my god,
of his daughter being like, "Hi, Daddy, it's Jada," And she's like, and I love you so much. And like, she's like, I know you're gonna win, but if you don't, like, I'll still love you.
Mm.
Mom and dad will still love. Like, just like hearing that, I was like, oh, no wonder that man jumped over a guy backwards.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Like,
saying.
I'm like, no shit. Like,
Yeah,
I'm like,
I'd
yeah,
hurt him on-
dude.
dude,
If I heard that, I'd run through a wall. Like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I was like, but I'm like, but with that too, it's like that. Like, you can't tell me if you aren't an actual like degenerate human being that isn't every man's dream.
Right.
Like, go listen to that voicemail, and I can tell you right now, a father having that from a son or a daughter is absolutely all they want.
Even just like a wife.
Yeah, no.
A man having that from a
yeah.
wife, it's just like, hey, I know you're gonna win, but even if you don't, I love and I'm so proud of.
Like,
where
I'm
you
so
got.
proud. Like, yeah, no. I
Yeah,
mean, it's just
no.
like,
I'm breaking AP's season record immediately.
Yeah,
like,
exactly,
dude, it's
yeah.
over. And I'm not a running back built dude.
right,
But I will.
right.
I get
no.
that voicemail. Yeah, it's all over. It's all over.
Right. No, but it's,
Count your days.
no. I think it's important for people to know that. Like, I think for women who do have that question, like, it's really important to know like that goes so much further than you could ever imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those types of actions, and then building a family too, where that is instilled in your kids, like, that will carry on for generations in the most positive way.
Exactly.
Like, that ripple effect will be exponential.
I'm so excited for the day that I am able to send my children off into the world knowing that I hopefully instilled those same trademarks that we're just talking about right now.
100%. Yeah.
And like knowing that me and my wife have instilled, just like I've had a lot of people tell me like having a kid, I'm so terrified to have a kid in this world because of this. I'm scared of that. I'm scared of this. I'm scared of that. I'm like, yeah, I get that. And maybe kids aren't for everybody. But like for me at least, it's like that fear goes away because I know that the way that I want to raise my kids, they themselves could be the turning point.
100%.
Me and you can be the turning point. Anybody
Right.
can be the turning point for the world. So if they're like, that's what like doesn't scare me about having kids. It's like,
yeah.
I hope I can do a good enough job as a father for my kids to be the turning point in society if I'm not able
100%.
to achieve that in my lifetime.
Yeah. You know, going back to a point I made earlier about like being particular about like who I would have a kid with and like just knowing that. I think if I was at this like the conversation that we just had about like what we want to build like within a family of like and like talking like about like Saquon's family and like how
Yeah.
loving it really is. Like, if I have a woman who I feel like understands that, I think immediately I'll be like, yep,
Yeah.
let's go.
It's real. It's
Like, if I don't have to like make that an expectation, if like that's a
Mhm.
genuine want of hers,
yeah.
and like she's making steps towards doing that, and like there's things that she's already proven for like years on end,
Yeah.
it's like I have no doubt in my mind that
Yeah.
this will work then.
I agree, man.
So
I'm so excited for you to find yours.
me too, actually.
Like being like the couple, being part of the couple in the friend group. It's like
Yeah.
I'm so excited for the day that each and every one of you guys find yours because like I'm gonna be maybe only second to your mom, be your loudest supporter and your dad.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
like I'm going to be cheering for y'all the loudest when you find yours.
Yeah.
Like I'm about to tear up thinking about it. I cannot wait for the day that you come to me and be like, "Hey, could you help me ring shop?"
Yeah, I can't wait for that day.
That day is going to be so exciting for me.
Yeah, I'll be really excited to do that with you. Like,
Yeah.
like you gave me that experience. I'll be really excited to return that favor. And I think on top of that too, like, you know, I think we've talked a lot about like the negatives of what's happening in dating today. But like to make this more positive, like coming into the end,
Mhm.
like I still do find a lot of hope.
Oh
like, in
yeah.
this. And like I really do have faith that I will find my person and that everyone that I know and love too will do the same as well. And I know that the timing will be different. And like, who knows how long it'll take me?
Mhm.
Like, I mean, you're already there,
Right.
and like, then compared to our other friends as well, like who knows? You know what I mean?
Dude,
But I am.
like, yeah.
But I've watched you guys, and I've watched a lot of other really great people find that.
Mhm.
And like, even with things being more tumultuous nowadays, like I still do hold out a lot of hope that this is a real thing that we can do,
Yeah.
and that it's not just like, oh, maybe it'll happen. It's more of like, no, this will happen.
It's easier to talk, like, obviously we just spent the last hour talking about the bads of the dating world, but
Right.
I will say, like, the people that we surround ourselves with, like our friend groups, our close people, even like our more outer circle people, like, it gives me hope every day that there are still good people out there, that there's still a chance for everybody, that, like, I still believe that there is hope for everybody to find their one.
100%.
And like, we keep good people around us, and that will keep attracting more good people. And
Agreed.
as that does, we'll attract yours, dude.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's funny. Like I talked about this in my episode, like our first episode. It's
Mhm.
like, I'm doing a lot of things right now to like really build myself to be ready for when my wife arrives.
Mhm.
And like maybe I will be like still in the building process and she'll come, and I'll be like, oh word, okay, like
You
I'm
probably
still
will
ready.
be. Like,
I'll be realistic.
respectfully,
Yeah,
you
no,
probably
100%
will
will be. Yeah, because like there's always room to grow and improve.
Mhm.
So it's like I don't expect myself to just be like this finished package when that comes. But
Right.
overall, I've really become so just much more intentional in my life recently.
Mhm.
So I'm really excited to share that intentionality with somebody, and to be with somebody who is also looking at life like that.
Yeah.
And while on top of that, though, too, like not taking everything too seriously and having fun.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
that's also really important to me, too.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree, man.
Yeah.
Dude, this was an amazing episode. We went long,
Yeah.
but I think every single minute was worth it.
I couldn't agree more with that.
Guys, thank you for joining us during this episode of The Perplexing Perspective. Please make sure you like and subscribe and hit that bell notification so you never miss an episode. Please follow us on all of our socials. We're The Perplexing Perspective on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, if you're above 40. Please find us on Apple Music, Spotify. Leave us a review. I'm gonna steal a quote from SNG. 5 stars is of course preferable, but whatever you got to say it with your chest.
Yeah.
Please leave comments down below for what you think our next question should be, and who knows, maybe your response will be in the next episode.
Yeah. And also, too, we would love to hear your comments on what you guys think about what we talked about.
Mhm.
If anyone wants to join on and argue with us about what we just
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
we'd
yeah,
also
yeah.
love that. So we're ready. We're ready to bring on more guests as well.
Yeah.
So just let us know.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, you guys.
Till next time.
Peace.